Hello everyone, this is WaterfallJoe and welcome back to another gear review video. In today's video, we're going over the camera that I have filmed so many videos with. If you've watched pretty much anything on my channel from the past year and a half, I filmed it with this camera here. I don't know why I haven't given it its own video and enough attention, but today I'm making it right. This is my Nikon Z30. I've had it for about a year and a half now, and I attribute so much of this channel success to this little vlogging camera here. So I'm going to do a little review about it, my thoughts, my opinions, and overall why I think it's an excellent bargain for vlogging, and overall just general photography if you're looking for a nice small travel camera. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's get a few things out of the way first. First of all, yes, you are on the right channel. This is WaterfallJoe, and yes, I am holding a Nikon. For some of you who know, I am a huge Micro Four Thirds fan. Ever since I switched to my OM system OM1 a few months ago, I've been obsessed with the system. I used to shoot Nikon full frame. I had a Nikon Z6 II, before that I had a D750. I was a Nikon fan for many years. And that's why when I had the chance to buy the Z30, I said of course I want a Z30. It fits right into my Nikon ecosystem. Well then I offloaded all of my Nikon full frame equipment, switched to the OM1 Mark II, and I've been building up my fleet of Micro Four Thirds cameras. But the Z30 still remains. I think mostly because I got it for an absolutely incredible deal used. I really don't have any reason to sell it yet. It's still an excellent camera. It hasn't failed me yet. It's not heavy by any means, and I use it just to vlog with every day. So this is WaterfallJoe. I am going to be reviewing a Nikon camera. Don't worry. I'm filming this on my OM1. The OM system stuff isn't going anywhere. I have plenty of Micro Four Thirds videos planned. But today we're going to give my little Z30 a little attention. So let's talk about the Z30. Let's go over what this is, how it's super out of the blue from Nikon, and why I absolutely love this camera. Okay, so let's go to all the basic specs, the brochure stuff out of the way. So Nikon Z30, starting price in the $800, $900 range, announced June 2022, 20 megapixel crop sensor, based on the Z50 and the ZFC platform. Only difference is, of course, no viewfinder. This is a screen-only vlogging style travel small camera, whatever you want to call it. Why is this weird? The reason this is weird is, first of all, if you've been around the industry for a while, you might remember the days when Nikon was kind of bullied for their video. And when I say bullied, I mean very, very bullied. If you ever said I shot Nikon, someone would just assumed you didn't do video. And that was kind of the running joke back in the day. I don't really know if it was true or not, but it is true on the fact that Nikon wasn't as focused on video as, say, Canon or Sony. We all know that's true. Nikon was really focused on making high-end DSLRs, and they weren't really too worried about how good is the video. That was more of a Sony and Canon Panasonic thing. Well, something strange happened when everyone switched to mirrorless. When everyone went mirrorless, all of a sudden, everyone said, why don't we get better video cameras? Panasonic's been doing it, Sony's been doing it, Canon started doing with the M series cameras before the R series. Nikon had their J series cameras, but no one really remembers those or talks about them anymore. And then all of a sudden the Z series came out with the Z6 and the Z7 in 2018. And all of a sudden everyone was talking about video. Video, 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 video. Everyone wants video. And Nikon's like, well, you know, we don't really do a lot of video. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background, he's a little crazy. But Nikon's like, we don't really do a lot of video, but let's give it a shot. So this camera is based on the huge success of the Sony ZV-E10 line, which is Sony's version of the no viewfinder, small crop sensor, fun video cameras. And that camera did extremely well. They just announced the version 2 of it with the larger battery, better performance, of course more expensive. But the ZV-E10 is an extremely well-selling camera. So the Z30 came out in June of 2022. And that's about almost 3 years ago now, believe it or not. This is May of 2025. Nikon hasn't given this much attention. They've given it a few firmware updates. It's kind of been weird. It's kind of an out there camera. It's their only Z series camera with no viewfinder. The Z50 just got a huge update on the Z50 II, which has been a massive success. One of my favorite cameras Nikon's came out with in a while. If I was still big in the Nikon space, the Z50 II would be an awesome option as well. But the Z30 is just kind of like this obscure, out of the blue, kind of a very Sony style camera from Nikon, and I think it works. I think it's excellent. If you've watched any of my videos from January of 2024 through right now, I shot it on this camera. My most successful video I've ever shot was why I switched from full frame to micro four thirds. I shot it on the Z30. All of my waterfall videos, the Z30. The best part is, this is a 4K camera. I don't even use the 4K. That's right. Every video you've seen on my channel is 1080p, 30 frames per second. I kind of joke that if I ever hit 10,000 subs, maybe I'll bump up to 4K, but I don't really see the need to shoot in 4K personally. But this little hot rod right here can shoot in 4K 30, which is amazing. The only thing to be cautious of is because it has a smaller body, its thermal dissipation isn't as good, so it does overheat if you're doing extended periods of 4K, and it will turn off. So let's talk about some of my favorite features of the Z30. Why is this camera so cool? Why do I love this camera? So the first feature I love is, of course, the compact size. Look at the size of this camera. First of all, the kit lens here, this is a 16 to 50 millimeter, and it collapses in when you're not using it, which allows it to be ultra compact. Another great feature is the screen can close into the body, and now it's nice and safe and protected from scratches and everything. But this is very small and can easily be thrown in any jacket pocket. Take it with you anywhere. I often like to just take it with me to work, throw it in my bag. Why not? Look at the size of it. Another one of my favorite features is the face tracking on this camera is excellent. It does get kind of wonky here when I'm filming in the office with low light, but if you're outside with plenty of light, this thing will track your eye, no issues. No matter where I go, the little yellow box follows me. Another one of my favorite features of the Z30 is it is very futuristic feeling. In this day and age, I find that especially the younger folks who are so more accustomed to the phones and iPhones, if you're transitioning from an iPhone to a camera, there is no viewfinder here. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think some people think of viewfinder as like an old school thing. I can't believe it. I'm not even old school by any means, but I love my viewfinder. But I think in this day and age, especially with phone photography, people just don't want viewfinders anymore. And the Z30 is very forward thinking, the fact that there is no viewfinder. One feature I would have loved to see from Nikon is at least the option to add a viewfinder. Kind of like the Canon M6 Mark II, which is similar to this, but you can add a viewfinder if you choose to. I think Nikon didn't do that so that they didn't sabotage their other camera sales like the Z50 and ZFC, but it would have been a nice option. You have a hot shoe here. Come on, just let us slip it right on there. Come on, Nikon. Or even a third party or something. I have seen a few people take like the little film ones and just put them on there as a viewfinder of some sort. But if you're looking to transition into an actual camera from an iPhone or a phone of some sort, the Z30 is an awesome option because you're already used to using your screen. Just like any other mirrorless camera, when you change your camera settings in manual mode, it is real-time feedback. That is exactly what your photo is going to look like. Another one of my favorite things about the Z30 that not a lot of people think about is, for this price point, I think this is one of the least expensive cameras that's metal. This camera currently on sale is $599. To put that in perspective, that is the same price as the Canon R100. The Canon R100 is Canon's base model plastic body camera. No flip screen, touchscreen, 4K video, doesn't even do that. Very basic camera. You can get this high-tech, really nice grade metal camera, 4K touchscreen, flip screen, vlogging camera for the same price as the Canon R100. That's insane. I would buy a second one if I could right now. If you're looking to come from an iPhone or a phone or a larger camera to just a smaller vlogging camera, the Z30 is excellent. So let's talk about a few cons that I have with this camera. I've now owned it for about 15 months now, so I've had plenty of time to experiment with it, test it out. I am very pleased with this camera, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for a nice small travel camera. But there are a few issues I have with it. One of the biggest issues I have is, unfortunately, because of its size and its price, there is no in-camera stabilization. And I think if this camera had IBIS, I think it would wipe the floor of Sony and Canon. Another thing that kind of bugs me, but I think I understand why Nikon did it, is if you have your screen open like this, you cannot adjust any settings. The camera is locked in place. You cannot adjust them until you flip the screen back like this, and now you can start adjusting everything. I think they did that so that if you're vlogging, you don't accidentally change something. But every now and then when I'm filming here on my setup, it would be nice to be able to change things without having to flip things all over the place and everything. So another con of this camera is it is, of course, a Nikon Z series camera. And the Z series is what Nikon has been doing since 2018. Now, if you're a full-frame Z shooter, such as a Z6, Z7, Z8, 9, whatever, you have a plethora of lenses to choose from, and some of the best out there. Now, if you're a crop sensor Z shooter like this, the Z50, the Z52, the ZFC, unfortunately, Nikon doesn't really give as much attention to their crop sensors as they do their full frames. And it makes sense. That's where all the money is, in the full frames. That's where the pros are. That's the big heavy-duty equipment. That's where the best glass is going to be. It's the same with Canon. They do not care about their crop sensor stuff at all. But it would be nice to see a few more native choices from Nikon for this. There's two lenses that I've had in mind for getting for my Z30. The first one is the 12 to 28 power zoom. I think that would be an awesome little vlogging camera. And one of the coolest features is right here you have a FN1 and FN2 button. You can actually program these to be your power zoom buttons when you use the power zoom lens. And I think that would be absolutely amazing for vlogging instead of manually spinning the ring. The other lens I've really been thinking about was the 24mm f1.7. This is a tiny little portrait lens, f1.7. I think it'd just be a great fit for the Z30. But in terms of other choices like wide angles, some nice prime lenses, you're going to have to resort to Sigma or Viltrox for this one, as Nikon isn't really giving the APS-C Z mount a lot of attention. I would love to see if Nikon would throw a few more bones this way, especially for like the people who love the Nikon branded glass. Throw them a 35 made for the crop sensor. Sony does it. Why can't Nikon do it? And in terms of wide angles, if you want a good wide angle, you have to start at 12mm. Nikon used to make a 10 to 18 for the crop sensor DSLR cameras. Why can't they just take that and make it a Z mount and throw it on these things? I would love a 10mm on the Z30. That would be amazing. Come on, Nikon, give it a shot. And the last con I have is, at least for my personal use, I find the battery life isn't the best. Especially if you're outside on the hot days, on the cold days. I have watched that battery bar drain a little bit faster than I'm used to. That being said, I also use the OM1 Mark II, which is a beast in battery and can last a very long time. So they're kind of a dichotomy of each other, but this does have the smaller ENEL 25 battery. You know, you can't expect much out of this thing. I am using the ProMaster USB-C battery, which has a USB-C port built in. So it makes it super easy just to charge it, no issues. Just plug it into my phone charger. Let's talk about the future of the Z30. Luckily, just a few weeks ago, Nikon did give this a minor firmware update, so they are paying attention. They could probably give it more attention, but they are giving it some attention. At least they threw it a bone for a firmware update. Will we see a Z32? I think we will, because the Z50 just got a massive update, and it was a huge update. Like, the Z51 was fine, but the Z52 is a totally different league of cameras. And I think for that $1,000 price range, the Z52 is a hard camera to beat. I would love to see some of those features come to the Z30. One of the biggest features I'd love to see, which I know will not happen, is the larger battery out of all of the full-frame cameras, the ENEL 15. I'm going to say that Sony did it in the ZVE10 too. They threw in the FC100 battery, which gives that camera so much more capabilities than the ZVE10-1. If Nikon could somehow make this take the larger battery, I don't know how they'd have to compromise. Make it work. This camera could be an absolute beast. A far stretch would be, of course, I'd love to see IBIS, but I know IBIS and the larger battery, this camera will not be $600 and it will not be this compact. So I'm just out here dreaming and wishing. I know that's not possible, but that's my wish, Nikon, if you're listening. So do I recommend that you buy a Nikon Z30 in 2025? At the current moment, at the price of $599 with savings, I think absolutely yes. You will not find a better camera for that price in this market ever, unless you find a deal on a used full frame or something. Like I said earlier, this camera is currently the same price as the Canon R100, which is a base model plastic piece of... Just kidding, it's not that bad. It's a nice camera and anything will beat a phone. But for $599, I don't know if it gets much better than this. I absolutely love my Z30. I'm going to continue traveling with it. This kind of plays a crucial role in my setup. I have my OM1 Mark II as my hardcore video waterfall camera that I love so much, and then I have my Z30 as my video camera. And if I'm ever trying to be super discreet, this camera is very small and you can take it with you anywhere. So I give the Z30 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend one, especially for anyone who's looking to do any video. If you're looking to do more photography without the video, you probably want to look at the Z50, the ZFC, or the Z52, as once again, there is no viewfinder here. Now, if you're coming from a phone and you just want a small, compact camera, I don't know if it gets much better than this. The autofocus is great. Don't listen to the internet where people say Nikon autofocus isn't great. They're lying to you. The Z30 is great. The low light's great. The video is excellent. It's a sweet camera. It shoots raw. It has 4K if you need 4K. What's there not to love? I give the Z30 2 thumbs up, and I'm an OM system guy. So I'm going to wrap up the video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the Z30? Are you a fan? Do you have one? What are your thoughts? Are you thinking about getting one? If you liked today's video, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. This is WaterfallJoe. Have a great day.